Okay, well, I play Grandpa Hoover, who's a bit of a naughty boy. He's been around the block a few times, and then some. Basically, depending on who your audience is, but I'm just going to tell you what it's about. For him, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And then there's Uncle Frank.
Yeah, I'm the other end of the spectrum, a bit of a misbag. I'm in a very dark place at the start of the show, just tried to kill myself. And by the end of the show, I'm smiling a little bit more than I was at the start.
I mean, the film, it kind of like touches on what I class as a typical family life, all the kind of highs and lows that can happen on, the troughs, the laughs, the sorrows. But I mean, how does that kind of translate into kind of music? Is it like, do the songs kind of suit the moment, or is it?
Well, it's like with any story, when you're doing a musical, the songs help to carry the narrative a lot faster than a scene would with just dialogue. You can get through an awful lot of the story in song, I think, and I think that helps to drive the story.
Yeah, they're really expositional, aren't they?
Yeah,
most of them. There are a couple of songs that are sort of standalone, nice numbers that just give you a little insight into the character, but most of them are about the journey and progress in the family.
And the family are very dysfunctional. They've all got their own problems, and when you can find in a small space like a VW camper van, and they're driving 800 miles or something ridiculous. So all those faults and tempers fray, and they all come to the surface. And within all this is little Olive, who is the catalyst that brings everybody together, and we all root for her to win Little Miss Sunshine pageant. And it's all about the trials and tribulations along the journey.
Yeah.
And it's set in America. You all do the act in American accents.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like kind of conversation, maybe kind of like making it into like a British version?
I don't think it would
Well,
work.
I don't know we have the pageant culture here like they do. We do to a degree, but it's massive in America. I don't know if you've ever seen Toddlers and Tiaras, that series. You
Yeah,
see how
it's
grotesque it is and how horrific that whole world is, where these mums and dads sometimes are pushing their daughters into these grotesque caricatures of women.
Yeah, we
don't
poke
really have
fun
that
at the
in the same way.
pageant system. We don't condone it
We're
at all.
not championing it at all.
No,
Nor
because
is
Olive is not your typical pageant queen. She's the antithesis of that, I think, and that's where the charm lies in her character, I would say.
She's just a normal little girl who has these little dreams of being a princess, and that's the easiest way to sort of...
And Grandpa shows her the dance moves and teaches her the song and stuff like that. So it's all his fault, really. But she's got a great number at the end, and the audiences are always up on the feet, and they're really with Olive throughout the whole journey.
So obviously you play Grandpa, that must be a lot of fun to kind of play. Obviously, like you mentioned, he's the naughty one.
But yeah, I like playing baddies. He's not a baddie. He's a great character to play.
He's colourful, isn't he?
He's colourful. Yeah, that's a great way of describing. He's very naughty. He's I think he's just got a new lease of life since Olive was born. He's full of life, and he lives it to its fullest, really. And he's got a penchant for drugs and everything else that goes along with that. But he tries to protect Olive, doesn't he? The family don't like the idea that he speaks plainly in front of Olive, but he does cover up for it a little bit as well.
And also he's the one the audience are rooting for. You've got Olive, who's the innocent, but their grandpa's lived the life, and he's saying it as it is. And the audience love that, because it's warts and all.
A bit of grandpa in
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be, when they grow older.
Just say it.
And I think also the relationship between Richard, Grandpa's son, and him, they're very different people. Richard's quite uptight, and he's under pressure to get his self-help thing off the ground, and so there's a clash of personalities, I think, with Richard and Grandpa, and that's self-evident throughout the whole piece as well, I think.
And also, you play probably the most serious parts. You start off having attempted to do your own.
Yeah.
How do you kind of get into character with that?
Well, it's very easy for me to play miserable, because I'm a real misbag.
He's not.
No, do you know what? The opening number of the show is very strong, and it gives you it's a really good device to set up each character, and you get a very brief little insight into each of us. And I think that's our perfect way in as an audience and as an actor. You've got here I am, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I've been through, and this is where I'm going moment. And that just gets you on the road, I think.
Yeah, but there's lots of laughs along the way as well. There's some great gags, some visual gags.
Suicide.
It's not all doom and gloom. It's much like the film, I suppose.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of comedy in there, and some of the numbers are amazing. Very technical harmonies, and the guys, some cracking singers. And when they come together for some of the numbers, the harmonizer just blows your head. It's just amazing.
If you had to pick one other character to play, who would it be?
What, somebody else to play?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you had to be a different character.
Yeah, I would probably like Ian Carlisle's character, Buddy, the pageant host. I think I'd quite like to have a crack at him, really.
I'd like to be Miss California because she's completely batty and
Yeah, she is.
nothing makes sense, but she's very entertaining.
Brilliant. And obviously, you've been on the road now since May on your own little road trip.
We have,
Have
yeah.
you got your own little dysfunctional family going on?
Yeah,
We
it's
have,
quite
haven't we?
functional, to be fair. But we've got, I mean, Jacob, who's sat behind you at the minute, he's gone shy. He's our social secretary, and he's a great quiz master.
Amongst
we have,
other things, yeah.
amongst other things, yeah, we have quizzes, and I'm not going to call what Paul hosts in the dressing room sometimes, a party after the show, and we have a special name for it, which I can't go into because you wouldn't be able to show it on air. So we have lots going on. We go go-karting as well, and lots of activities. So yeah, we have a great
We're a
time.
social bunch, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been in a company that are so close-knit and having such a nice time. Normally you have little splinter groups and fractions, but actually when we come
Yeah,
together we
yeah.
have a really nice time, which is mad after 6 months on the road, 5 months.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, if you had to kind of just quickly sum up and tell people why they should come and see Love is Sunshine, what would you do?
Well, I'd just say if you want a bumpy ride rather, with great music, comedy, and be left with a smile on your face, come and see our show.
It's a great new musical, new writing based on a film people know and love, and you'll come out smiling with some tears along the way.
Well, that's the thing. The film won
That should be
Oscars, so
marketing.
the fact that it won an Oscar should be enough to get people in the theatre.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent.
No worries.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Smashing.
Thank you.